So, going back to transgenders, and sorry, I'm painting. It's one of my hobbies, plus, it relaxes me. Um, Anyways, going back to that, the person that keeps on commenting in literally all of this. Yeah, I panted my hand on accident. Saying he's a woman or a man. He's not a woman. That he wants me to leave him alone. Okay, I will leave you alone. Leave this topic totally alone. As long as you don't try to push for it to be taught in schools. For you to stop pushing it where they can go coexist in sports, and that they're okay to go into the opposite sex locker room. Okay? I'm so happy at my work that I haven't met a transgender there. Okay? Yet. And I will say yet. Knock on wood. Because, yeah, we have uniforms. We have lockers. Obviously. I can't, in dressing rooms, I can't, anyways. But my biggest upset is that I want to raise my kids with Disney. Like I was raised. When I was younger, I would dream, imagine having movie nights, putting blankets out and watching it with popcorn and stuff like I would with my mom. And it was always Disney movies. Like she would do that on weekends and we loved it. Well, I can't really do that when these movies are turning into transgender movies. Like we literally actually got rid of Disney Plus because they were wanting to change all of them. I'm okay, absolutely okay if you change it, race-wise. I get that because Walt Disney, back then, it was during the time of segregation, so almost all of the old movies are made, the main characters are white. So you want to make them black or Asian, whatever, I don't care. That's understandable. But transgender is not a race, okay? It's not a culture. In fact, I don't mean it's a sexuality, I guess. I guess that's a term for it. But I personally don't think that's okay to teach young kids. You already have to have a permission slip to teach the kids that they need to protect themselves from people that make them feel uncomfortable. Okay, well, being around a transgender, don't you think that will probably make them feel uncomfortable too? I will admit, every female that is turned into a male, I wouldn't have guessed in 100 years that they were a transgender. Not in 100 years. Because it's easy to turn to looking to a guy from a girl than it is the other way around. Guys that turn into girls, you're never going to look like a girl, no matter how much you try. my coworker, who's actually a really good friend of mine, I will actually call him a he, because I didn't know until a week before I quit from my old job that he was a transgender. I thought he was a guy the whole entire time. But no, he was a girl. And like, he's the nicest person ever. And I'm not saying you guys are bad people or anything like that. I'm not saying that at all. So please don't think I'm saying that. I don't like having my kids, sorry. For those that haven't watched my epilepsy, I have a device that's connected to the nerve. And when it goes off, it puts a tickle in my throat. Anyways. So, sorry. But anyways, like I was saying, is I don't like the fact that this subject is being pushed on my children, where the schools, where media, where entertainment is trying to push for it to be okay in those areas. And the person that I'm arguing with earlier on almost all of these transgender videos, you also need to understand, I am not against you. I don't want people pinpointing my kids and trying to take away, how do I word this? Take the way I was grown up. Like, I loved my childhood because of Disney, because I didn't know anything, that stuff. But if I knew it back then, I would still be super uncomfortable. Like, and I know that. And Cyber, I think your name is, by the looks of it, you look a lot younger than me. Yeah, you can take that as a compliment. And that's fine. But you weren't born in the 20th century. You're not a millennium. You don't know what it was like being raised back then. Almost all the people I've noticed that are fighting this transgender, and were fighting abortion, were fighting for Black Lives Matter, I've noticed most of them are college students. It's kind of ironic, don't you think? Because they don't understand. They don't understand, like, how we were raised. How everybody before their time, the 21st century's time, was raised. Like, I remember playing outside and playing Ring Around the Rosies and stuff like that. Now, my kids, sadly, most of the time are on electronics. Like, that's like the big thing. And that's another reason why I don't really like this subject as well, because I have seen my son pull up like kids YouTube just to watch a video trying to find Unspeakable or the Mr. Beast. And instead of finding them, he finds something that has to do with transgenders. I'm like, really? This is kids' YouTube, not normal YouTube. Kids. Like, it's everywhere, even when you try to block it. And my husband was watching an anime with the kids. And most animes, we've noticed, don't have transgenders anyways. But one of them had men dressed up in really skanky outfits. We didn't know there were guys until their voices decided to ring. And yes, I use the term ring. But like, it's frustrating. And I don't get why everybody thinks it's okay. Everybody thinks it's right. When you become a parent, all you want to do is make sure your child is living in a safe world and living in a world where they're not uncomfortable. My son just barely had the whole entire if somebody asks to play the touching game, whatever it's called, you say no type thing. If anybody tries to touch you in places where you don't want to be touched, you say no. He just barely had that learning experience at school. I went to it because when I was younger and taught it, nobody came and I was so uncomfortable it wasn't even funny. I was in 4th grade. My son's in 2nd. So obviously the sexuality thing is getting worse. Disney actually apparently has a lot of employees that have turned like pedophiles, transgenders. So honestly, it's even getting like, I'm getting even more like flustered. I can't even raise my kids appropriately, it feels like. And that's all I want. I'm surprised I can multitask right now. Because I have ADHD, so it's kind of hard to multitask. But anyways, that's my spiel on it. I don't know. I'm posting this on my YouTube mainly because this is kind of long. But anyways. So, have a good day.